There's a lot of shit that happens behind the scenes.
This is right where we started. We have the dogs on our lap.
So we're gonna talk most embarrassing moments. I'm generally unhinged. What are you most excited about?
I know that we have some really cool people that are coming.
You can show other women what it looks like to be a chameleon.
I'm excited about the growth, between you and I.
We're building a mission-oriented brand here. It's our turn to write what sport looks like for the future. We don't love intros, so I'm just gonna say it. It's Lauren Deletsky.
I'm Jackie Jamelis.
And welcome to the Click Clack podcast. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Click Clack podcast with Lauren Deletsky.
And I'm Jackie G. What up?
That's right. That wasn't as bad as our usual
I actually
intros.
really like that one. Can we use that forever?
For anybody that walks back all the way to our first episode, we ran back so many intros, and both of us actually hated doing intros.
We should probably do a video of all of the failed intros that we did.
Yeah.
Because it was embarrassing.
It was so embarrassing. But you know what? It was a good learning.
It was.
Because now we're we have an intro we sort of like.
Yeah. This one will work. I'm fine with
You're
this
okay
one.
with this?
Yeah.
Okay. Noted. All right. So we are in the OG studio, my house, where we started.
This is right where we started. We have the dogs on our lap. They were here on the first episode.
The stinky breath dogs.
Honestly, yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna have to put him down because it's over. It's not great.
It's too stinky.
Yeah, he's got some crust in his eyes. He's poor guy. He's a hot mess right now.
They're getting groomed next week, so it's been a wild ride. For anybody that has kids and dogs, you realize that your dogs become way less than your kids in your life, and then you're like, if you can even let them out during the day, it's a win.
Yeah, no, this guy.
Please don't call PETA. No, they're really well taken care of.
They are. They're actually adorable. He's having a rough moment right now.
He's just a little stinky.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jack. So it's the last episode of season 1. Cannot believe it.
What's
happening?
And we just started this podcast yesterday.
When you were on your way over to my house.
We were at Matador yesterday.
That's what I was going to bring up. So last summer, I met Jackie at a great restaurant called Matador. It was you and Nej, Jackie's friend Nej, and my friend Nej. And I was like, hey, remember a year ago when I pitched you on having a podcast together? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, what if we actually did it?
We had talked about it before at Nike, and you had just left Nike, so you were like, let's go for it. And
let's just go.
I'm here for it. Let's do it.
I don't know. I always just had this little itch that there was something here between us. And I'm like, man, you made me laugh so hard every time I was at Nike and in the lab. And I just was like, this just isn't as common to meet someone where you're just you just are pa 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 pa.
I agree. Yeah, we definitely had the chemistry and we knew it. So I mean, the fact that we're here today, I'm so proud of everything that we've done.
I mean, we've pushed ourselves both a lot.
We have.
And I think that we've gotten out of our comfort zones. We've brought on incredible team members. Shout out to everybody on the Click Clack team behind the scenes that make this thing happen. And we've done it on a shoestring budget with a lot of grit and a lot of vision. Mm-hmm. And I really think what differentiates what we're building here from other podcasts or other places is that we're incredibly mission-oriented in what we're building. We said in our last episode, we're trying and change one woman's mind at a time to help her fall in love with sports the way that we have, particularly women's sports.
Yeah.
Well, you've always loved women's sports. I'm a newbie into professional women's sports.
Yeah, I can't even consider you a newbie anymore. I feel like you're so in this thing now.
I do feel like my head is full of facts now, but that's because I'm good at research.
Yeah.
So, but it's really fun.
Anytime anyone needs a fact, just DM Lauren. I mean, she knows everything.
I love facts, and I love to research. And the cool thing, I was thinking about this today, and I was talking to Allie on our social team, and I was like, every day I wake up, there's a new headline in women's sports. Every day. Mm-hmm. Multiple headlines. I'm like, this is wild that we're here. That it's it used to be a little, little over here, little over there. There was Serena, there was obviously big moments, but not like this.
I know.
Where it's just this, it's always on.
And we were just downstairs. You turned the TV on, and what was on the screen?
League One volleyball, the championship. I'm like, Samsung prioritized putting the championship game on their main ad spot when you turn on your Samsung TV.
Yep.
And what I thought was super cool is I posted about it on our TikTok, and how excited I was because I was turning on the TV to watch my favorite, Vampire Diaries. Shout out to my Vampire Diaries fans out there. All I could think about was like, oh, I'm really excited about now watching volleyball.
I know.
And so I put it up on our TikTok, and League One Volleyball, I call them Love Bee because that's their
Back.
Oh no.
We're back. It's fine.
Sorry, the stinky dogs are back. I can put him down.
No. It is what it is.
His
This
teeth
is great.
are-
Yeah, his teeth and his breath.
He's getting his teeth cleaned very soon.
Thank God.
But
no, going back to that too, like I would consider myself very one-dimensional when it comes to what women's sports that I really like to watch. It was only basketball. And then I think I transitioned a little bit into women's soccer over the last few years. But now it's like there's so many opportunities to watch and learn about so many different sports, to your point.
the fact that there's so many emerging sports, and even for someone like you who grew up obsessing this sport, like the sport of basketball and the women's game, I hope this experience has really opened your mind to other sports. We're going to go watch a tackle football game together in May, which is going to be so cool.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I remember one of the main reasons why I I chose basketball over soccer was because the WNBA. It was one of the only women's professional leagues. And that is like what kind of drew me a little bit, because I'm like, I want to play in the WNBA. There wasn't like a professional women's soccer league at the time. There wasn't like a volleyball league or anything like that. So it was like the WNBA was all we had. So I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing.
I mean, how cool is that though? And I think that's what I've always loved about you is you're so goal oriented. Like, you know how to get after a big goal.
Yeah.
And to become a professional athlete, there is very few goals in this world that most people get to than that. Like, I would equate like what Nick's doing in medicine similar to becoming a professional athlete, because it's such a small percentage of people that get there.
Well, what you're doing with Click Clack too.
Starting a business.
Yeah.
Starting a business for sure. But I mean, I love to surround myself with really goal-oriented people. And I think that's what really drew me to you.
Same.
I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, it's the
You
shit.
fucking rock, girl.
You fucking rock, girl. Okay, so we're going to recap a little bit on this amazing season we had. And I would say, for me, I'll just talk about the season generically. This was a huge learning curve for all of us. Like, our whole team was very new to podcasting. We had never been podcasters. I mean, you were a media face at one point because you were in the W playing, active player. Big deal coming out of high school, like went international as well. I've always been kind of behind the camera, working in brands, but like this is the first time we're putting our faces together out on the internet.
Right.
and that was a big learning.
It was huge. No, it was absolutely huge. And to your point, like I was always being interviewed as a basketball player. I was always the one that they were asking questions to. So I think that for me, this was such an amazing experience because I had to go on the reverse end of it. And I had to learn about who we were interviewing and know their story and try and figure out ways to tie, my upbringing and everything that I've learned in my life to what they do, and apply that. So I think that for me, it was like taking myself out of it a little bit and doing the reverse, which was really unique and kind of super fun to experience, honestly.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point because you kind of knew your playbook when it came to media interviews post-game or pre-game. And this is a really different experience. And I think for anybody, interviewing people, it's such an incredible skill. And both of us, I think, are naturally people. Like, we love people, we love stories, we connect with people. And I think this was just kind of that next step in our journey.
Yeah.
To really become a face for ourselves and for this mission we're trying to build.
And I think what was also really gratifying in this experience was kind of like feeling how safe the people that we were interviewing felt with us. And that was so rewarding because it's so easy to feel timid in situations like this and not want to talk about your story. Trust me, I've been there. Like, there's a lot of things I haven't wanted to talk about with my career in basketball. But I just think that the ways that we have been able to kind of pull things out of our guests is really special to see. And I felt like every time a guest left, they felt very connected to us and they felt very good about the interview. And for me, that was like one of the most rewarding things from this experience because I felt like we were doing something for them in a way that maybe they haven't been able to experience yet.
Well, and especially because we're both very different people too. And how often do you sit in a room with people as different as we are as far as like how we were raised. And I mean, there were a lot of similarities to in how we were raised. We have really great families that are very supportive. Our just lives were very different. And so to kind of come together and find that intersection of where we all connect, I think that's the beauty of humanity. And I think that's a opportunity for others to think about and hopefully take inspiration from this podcast, that like you should go introduce yourself to someone who's really different than you. You should try and befriend somebody that's really different than you, because some of the best relationships in my life have come from the most unexpected places and with people that are like so different than me. But that's also kind of me. Like I don't like being in a room with people that are all like me. That room would be, nobody would stop talking. It would be so scary. It would be like that room of people are, it's like the Energizer Bunny on crack. So I'm like, we need some like lower energy people in this life.
You got me for that. Anytime you do it, you know I'm here for that. But no, I think like too, just like going through the season and just remembering all of our guests. There were some guests that like I know you felt more connected to than me, and vice versa. And I think there was a lot of learnings from the ones that we didn't necessarily feel as connected to, because it just forces you to open up and try and figure out ways to just vibe with the conversation. So for me, there was a lot of that. You know, there was a lot of guests that I didn't necessarily know if I was going to be able to connect or not. And I would take the back seat a lot of the time and let you kind of take over the conversation because you're so good at that. For me, just that was also just a huge learning curve for me of just like, that is okay, but also really finding my voice in those conversations. And shout out to Chow for, you know, our amazing producer that's always helped me on trying to like figure out my narrative.
Absolutely. And I've seen you grow tremendously in that area. And I think it's one of those skills that like if you can hone it, like I knew when I met you, I mean, you were always going to be someone who was going to achieve greatness. You already have in your life.
Thank you.
But the cool thing is that you're going to achieve greatness in so many other areas than sport.
I'm here for.
Yeah, and I think that's, again, another underpinning of what we're trying to build here with our mission is to show women that you are your sport and you're so many other things than your sport. Or like me, where maybe you never felt part of a professional sport, and now you feel like there is room for you with professional sport. And so I see this being such a powerful way to get people to find that equilibrium in relationships and in sport. And hopefully we've inspired just a few people at least in that.
I think we have.
I hope so.
I think we've done a good job.
I think we have a few clackers out there, you know?
No, we do. Trust me, we do.
Some trolls and some clackers.
Yeah. Bring on the trolls again.
Bring on the trolls. Okay.
I don't think we have enough, so I'm waiting for more trolls.
Honestly, keep coming at us.
Yeah.
You know, but we do have a lot of positivity too.
I mean, I've never seen like anything really so negative aside from the greasy hair comment. Yeah. Shout out to you, my friend.
I mean, also... Shout out to you, my friend. I see you. I know who you are. Actually, Lauren knows who you are because I look at every single one of our followers.
And there might have been more comments I just didn't catch. I know you probably caught them all.
Yeah, I mean, just the internet is a fascinating place generally. But yeah, I mean, I think those are some really good learnings from season 1. I would say also for me, I've talked about this in a lot of our episodes, but I've always been a very self-conscious person, a very self-deprecating person, especially body self-conscious. And I think this platform and what we're building here, like even seeing myself on camera is uncomfortable. And I hear a lot of women talk about that in my circles and groups. And it's like, we have to break this stereotype for women. We have to help women show up and be really genuine, really authentic, be there. Even today, there was a photo that I posted on my Instagram that I don't love the way I look, but I was like, fuck it. I'm posting it because it was just me being silly. And I'm like, we need women to really just show up and be them. And like stop obsessing about every wrinkle, every like little, you know, like as I say, the blub like coming out of the pants, or, you know, a double chin or whatever. I'm breaking out like shit on my freaking face right now. I mean, so what? Show a pimple.
Right. I mean, I'm probably not going to go that far, but
I mean, I probably won't wear a crop top again on the podcast. Like, I'm probably like,
but I love that you don't have shoes on right now. You're being very authentic to who you are right now.
No heels today. She's just completely.
Yeah.
She's been running around, planning kid parties. She's not wearing heels today.
We love that. You're
that.
Chilling, you know?
Yeah. So I think that's been a big learning for me to just really kind of like strip down to who I am and just be like, own that, be that, show other women they can be that. Like, don't just talk about it, be it.
Yeah.
And I love to be glamorous. Like, it's just who I am. I love to fashion, I love to dress up, but I think just being also my really authentic, stripped down self is super important. So,
yeah. Well, I think it's like, honestly, I always say this, but as you get older, like, you really don't care if people like you or not. You just come into who you are, and you're so confident with what that is, no matter what. I mean, that's where I'm at in my life, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be for everyone, and that is totally fine. But, like, why try and be something that you're not, you
100%.
know?
And I think women often try and assimilate to be something for everyone. And it's like, no more. None of
Right.
that. None of that. Like, I was on a call the other day, and I was pitching us. And I was like, look, this is why, you know, we are magic together, and this is why you should work with us. And they were like, I love that you just showed up to this call and you were like straight up with what your goals are, and that you're like, you would be silly not to work with us. And I'm like, oh my God, this like whole experience is helping me not only in my confidence, like out in my life, but like in my business.
Yeah, it's huge.
And I'm like, this is crazy.
You're going to get so many more people that are attracted to that than haters, in my opinion.
Totally. So that was, I think for me, that's been a very big learning. Also just knowing how to let others talk more in the room and hearing myself in interviews, because I'm very, like, I get so excited. Sometimes I don't leave a lot of air in the room for other people. Sometimes being quiet is very powerful. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm getting better at, hopefully,
I
doing
think
that.
you have done an amazing job. And one thing I love about you is that you can accept and take constructive criticism or feedback, or however you want to call it. I think that has been really, really beautiful to watch and see, because it's not easy for someone to tell you, hey, you're talking too much on this podcast. You need to hone down what you need to say. Because it's like, you have so many incredible things to say, and you're so amazing, and you're full of facts and knowledge. And you have just like this, you're a podcaster. That's like I think what you're meant to do is to be a podcaster, and to build brands and to build an empire eventually. But it's been really, really amazing to watch and see how you've kind of tailored your approach a little bit to even just like help me in the process as well, because I don't have a lot to say like you do, you know? But when I do say stuff, like, hopefully it's meaningful when I actually do have something to say. But I think we're very different, and that's what makes this really beautiful. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we're an amazing team.
I agree. You're incredibly gifted at, when you say something, it hits. And it's just very thoughtful. It's clear. And I think more people could take a page out of your book of, sometimes it's okay not to say something. And then when you do say something, it's a better message.
Well, I appreciate that. Sometimes I wish I had more to say, but hey. Well,
hey, I mean,
that's why I got you.
We're going to keep going like this. Meeting in the middle.
True.
So I think those were some really good learnings, just as far as like our growth, the podcast, finding our voice.
I've got a question for you. So with all those learnings in mind, what would you say was your favorite episode?
That's a really tough question, because every single guest we had on, which shout out to all of our incredible guests in season 1. These are people who are powerful people, who have influence in their careers and their lives, and also just incredible stories, and were willing to take a chance on us and this podcast and the concept without having a following. And that was really endearing for me as a founder, because when you're working in brands or you're out looking at social, like, it's all about follower count. It's all about engagement. It's all about these metrics that are really constructed by the social networks. And sometimes brands and people miss the greatest opportunities when they don't take a chance on an unknown.
Yeah.
Major flowers to our guests who really took a chance on us. So it's very hard to pick a specific guest, but I would say there were 2 stories for me that really hit. So the first was Sadie Lincoln, who's the founder of Bar 3. You know, I've looked up to Sadie my whole career. I've always loved business. I love building brands. And I think also for me, her vulnerability around body issues and confidence, and really being, not just being that CEO that like says stuff, but like actually practices what she preaches. Literally still does classes every week. From what I remember listening to about her, she pulled back on franchising even further, because she's like, we've grown so much. I want our members to still feel part of this brand, or our clients.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And I was like, damn, anybody else in this capitalistic society would have been like, no, keep franchising, keep going, make more money. And I can tell she's someone that is more driven by altruism than money. This is a woman that like more people need to look up to if they don't already. Yeah. And I know she's influenced thousands and maybe millions of people, but that one really hit home for me. The second one was Amy Thompson. So Amy Thompson was a woman we met through an organization that supports people with disabilities and people who want to join sport with a disability. Sports. Yeah, sorry, sports. We say sport too many times. But Amy was incredible and was in an accident and became paralyzed from the waist down. And she's not someone anyone would necessarily know outside of her own community, but I mean, I couldn't imagine becoming paralyzed midway through my life and how she's persevered and also her willingness to tell her story with us.
That was amazing.
I mean, what a vulnerable story.
Yeah.
And I remember the moment that she agreed to come on the podcast because we were having conversations and I think she was a little uncertain. And then she listened to one of our episodes and she's like, I'm in.
Yeah.
And that just told me that we're doing something right.
For sure.
So like for me, I mean, all of our guests, I love you all, but like those two stories in particular, like really made me feel connected.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, just to piggyback a little bit off of the Amy episode, I was like very nervous going into that episode because obviously, you know, the injury and figuring out how to approach that conversation was something that was very in my head about. But I think you were the one that kind of ripped the Band-Aid off during that episode. And I think we did such a good job just like, having that conversation with her and kind of bringing that out of her. And I just remember feeling so good after we left that interview because she was just so amazing and her story's obviously just incredible. But yeah, that was such a great episode for me as well. And like you said, they were all absolutely amazing, very unique in their own different ways. If I had to pick one or two that I like really felt like I connected with, mine was probably Doc, the very first interview that we had with someone, with a guest. She was a former player and just like everything that she's been through in her life, all the adversities. I didn't go through anything that she went through, but I've had adversities in my life. So just to kind of hear her and how she was able to overcome those and her mindset throughout all of it was really inspiring to me. Shout out to Doc. She's just such an incredible human and
Fierce
such a
woman.
funny person too, and just like so easy and relatable. I think we gained a friend from her, you know.
Love you, Doc.
Yeah, for like seriously. And then I would say Claire Hamill was someone who hit home for me just on a very personal level. You know, she was the one that made the WIN program happen at Nike, and I was in that program for over 2 years. So my love for her runs very deep. Just everything that she's done for me and all the WIN members is just like, it's hard to even put into words because she really did change our lives for the better. So to be able to have her come in here and sit with us and have those conversations was just very, very moving for me and something that I'll probably never forget because, yeah, I mean, she's just what a human, you know?
Yeah, and post-retirement.
Yeah.
Her first big interview post 43 years at Nike. And she was like, of course, such a champ.
Yeah.
And she's shaped so many women's lives from as early as Joni, you know, JBS and winning the 1984 Olympics and training with her in the Nike Sport Research Lab, all the way to you and other WNBA players who came into Nike and really learned how to transition from a team environment that's more sport driven, right? Competitive sport.
Yeah.
And translating those skills into industry. And I think Claire is the living, breathing example of when you introduce innovation into really unknown places into an organization, it is incredible what you can do. It's not just about product, right?
Yeah.
It's about how do you accelerate people to then accelerate product and other innovation.
100%.
Claire is like, she's the definition of that.
She's the OG, and she's just so like relatable too. For someone who's like that high up at Nike, she could be a very different personality, but she is just kind and warm and like fucking just awesome.
And sends us pictures of her playing
In
basketball in a skirt. I was like, boss.
I know.
Could you imagine
No.
having to
Hell
have
no.
to play sport in a skirt?
I probably wouldn't play basketball if I had to wear a skirt.
Wild. That's such an interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember another one of a very important women to us in our lives, June Cooley, who we have not
my
talked
God.
about on the podcast, but
Shout
she's
out
been a
to
huge mentor to us, our Junie. She is one of the chicest, most sharp, incredible women. And she told us that when she was playing sport coming up, in like the sports in the 70s, they wouldn't even let women play on their periods.
Like, what? That's
I was
fucking
like,
wild.
Or if they started sweating too much, this was the other one she told me. If they started sweating too much, they had to go stand on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
There's a reason I was born in the era I was born, because that shit would not fly.
Yeah, it's wild. I love that, again, you see how different we are in the stories we connected to, but somehow we always find that intersection.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of things that have been surprising to me through this experience. One being, we're actually pretty good at this, I think.
No, yeah, we are.
Because you never know. I would say this is a surprise that I think I will take with me forever, and I hope will also open other people's eyes and minds, is that people are people. No matter how high you are at a company or what you've been through, you are going to miss every shot you don't take. And if you want to talk to somebody, just go for it.
Yeah.
Like, did I ever think the CEO of Bar 3 would have agreed to come on this podcast and just open up about body confidence and all? No way.
Yeah.
Because in my corporate life, it's like, you'd have to go through 10 different layers to get to that person. But when you're building something like this and you're building a brand and a company, reach out, find those commonalities, take that chance, take your shot. And I think for me, it's been an exciting surprise how much people want to be with us here on the show, even in the earliest phases of our show. That's maybe a lack of confidence on my end, but also just a great, exciting surprise. Because then I think about, like, who else could we have come on? Could we manifest Alona Mar?
Yeah.
Hey, girl. Alona,
I
we'd love to have you on.
No, for real though. I think a lot of this though also ties to when you and I first met. I think you made the same kind of analogy of like, maybe you thought that I wasn't, or because I was an athlete, that maybe I wasn't as approachable, or maybe, not as nice. And then you met me and it was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm just like a normal, like not normal, but like just another person in the office, So I think that you have a very different perspective with that because you didn't play professional sports, but like I've always been under the impression that we're just humans. We're all the same. Something that I was surprised by personally was the fact that you were able to put together a team behind everything that you did with the social side, with our producer, with us, with Grace, our chief of staff, with P, with all the video and editing and everything, and everyone that you were able to put around to make this incredible team, to me was just like actually very surprising, because I've seen people, that are running their own company and that, are doing this on their own, and it's a hard thing to do, and you've done it in like 6 months. So it's like, wow, incredible.
I'm like a dog with a bone. No, but really, like, thank you. I should first say thank you. I think I get so much joy from team. And I think that's why, for me with companies, yes, the product and the brand had to be there, but the team was really what kept me there.
For sure.
I was actually texting with one of our team members today, and I was like, I had to pinch myself after a call today, because I'm like, I get to be on this call with some of the, with the people that I want to work with, the people that I would handpick to be on my team.
It's huge.
And the people that really bring so much expertise and love and passion into everything they do, like you. What else could we ask for in life?
No, nothing. Literally nothing.
I would say I'm very gifted at getting people to believe in something together and feel a personal mission in that.
Yeah.
I also wear way too many hats and sometimes struggle with prioritization, but I think for me it's about making people feel part of something they can be proud of, and I think that's
you
what
have
we're
done
here.
A very good job at that, because
Thanks,
I think we all wake up and feel very energized and excited to be a part of this. So
thanks, my friend. That's
well
a good
done.
one.
Yeah.
Click clack to us. Okay, well, we're gonna I'm gonna get a little silly here now. You ready to get silly?
God, here we go. Has your gummy kicked in yet?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. So we're doing that. Got it.
There's a lot of shit that happens behind the scenes that you do not see. And I do think we sometimes try and like tease it out on social and talk about funny things, like when you and I did the arm bar at Femme Rising.
Oh yeah.
Freaking epic.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Click Clack Val. Like, you're incredible. I remember walking in and Val was like, she's just a woman that has this incredible presence. You can tell how confident she is, how strong she is. She's probably 5'7". you wouldn't actually know how strong she is.
No.
And she's like, I could take down a man 3 times my size. And I was like,
I know, incredible.
Click, clack,
for
girl,
me,
teach me everything you know.
Yeah, she looks just like a, a very pretty, like, yoga instructor that's just like...
But she could kick your ass.
Oh, she could mop the floor with me, that's for sure.
Totally. So that was pretty cool. But there's a lot of shit that happens behind the scenes. So we're going to talk most embarrassing moments, things that were, like, unhinged behind the scenes.
Oh, let me just go first because mine aren't nearly as good as yours.
That's because I'm generally unhinged.
Like, embarrassing moments, it was probably at the Femme Rising studio episode. I don't even know if I was necessarily embarrassed. I was uncomfortable as fuck. Like, sitting on that mat for an hour and a half interviewing, I was hurting. My knees were in pain. My back hurt. Like, it was awful. It was so bad. But, like, obviously the interview and that it was incredible, and listening to everyone was just, wow. Mind-blowing. But yeah, I was so uncomfortable, and I think anyone, if they were watching that or if they watch it, you can tell I was very much in pain, and that was low-key embarrassing.
I do remember once you were like, I gotta take a break, like a quick break.
I sprawled out.
Yes. Yeah, okay.
I remember watching you and you were still so engaged. I'm like, she's probably hurting so bad right now.
Oh, I was in fucking pain.
What's wrong with me as your pod wife? I should have been like, no, we can't record right here.
No, you were fine. I think even Chow was calling it out before. He was like, are we sure that you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. But meanwhile, 5 minutes later, I am just aching. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's hear about your embarrassing moments.
Well, I'll just talk about one specific. Well, there's two. The first is I had so many outfit failures. It was insane. We don't have stylists. We dress ourselves. We do all our own stuff. And like, I tend to think that I'm good at putting myself together. But
yeah, you
for
are.
the love of God, I was like, episode 1, potential nip slip. And you're like, your bra's showing. I'm like, God damn it.
You know what? That was, I do remember that. Nip slip. Yeah.
Nip slip.
We talked about it. We talked about the nip slip. Yeah. Epic.
The second was, mama cut her hair in what I called the trauma cut after I quit corporate America. Missed my locks, missed my long hair, and ended up wearing extensions and just had a fat extension showing the entire episode. I was like, nope, can't air that one.
Yeah. I mean, we got through it. You were fine. It wasn't horrific.
Well, and then the worst of it is the eyelash.
Obsessed.
Again, the Femme Rising episode.
Yes.
And I had an eyelash hanging off halfway through, and then at the end of the episode, Jack goes, girl, your eyelashes is basically off. I'm like, shit! And then somehow I took them off. They disappeared, as the eyelashes do, and then they ended up on Jackie's pants.
What's funny is it was these pants. I rolled over.
How serendipitous.
Yeah, I rolled over and I had your fucking eyelashes on my jeans.
So guess what, everybody? Season 2, she's gonna wear sweats. She's gonna really, we're done with the glamour. We're past it.
I'm here for all those moments, so they were so good.
And then the other one was, so we've been starting to work with some amazing brands. La Roche-Posay, shout out to La Roche-Posay, who sent us the most beautiful, fully loaded beauty box for our amazing clackers, and we took it to one of our shoots and someone stole it.
Yeah.
And I was unhinged about that.
Yeah, you were talking about that box for several days.
And
I was just like, Lauren, relax. It's okay.
Like, you need to get over it.
Yeah, we're going to be
I was like, I'm going to have to go buy all those products on my own dime. You're like, no,
I'm like, no, you're not. We will ask them for another box. It's going to be fine.
Shout out to La Roche-Posay who sent us another box. So thank you.
Yeah, seriously, that was amazing.
You saved me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, but also, who came up on our box? Lucky them.
Lucky them. They're walking away with like $500 worth of La Roche-Posay products. So.
Yeah. I hope they enjoyed them.
But stealing's not cool.
No.
Stealing is not cool.
It ain't.
But I do hope you have lovely skin after that. So yeah, those are a few of my embarrassing moments.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't feel like we feel a ton of embarrassment through those things, which I think is really good. Because I mean, we could easily crack on a lot of things.
That's
but
true.
I think we do a pretty good job.
We do pretty good.
Yeah.
So we made it. We got through the embarrassing moments.
We did.
Thank God. I'm sure there will be more.
Oh, there's going to be tons more. I hope I have better stories.
We're going to now just future cast a little bit. As we told you, we started this, 5 months ago? Or it was an idea 5 months ago. And now we're here after season 1. What are you most excited about for what's ahead for the podcast and for Click Clack?
For the podcast, I think I'm just super excited because I know some of the guests that we have in the pipeline, and I think that we do a really good job at all of us collaborating and figuring out who do we want to bring on and what stories do we want to tell. I personally love the stories that relate to like resiliency and adversity and things like that. So I know that we have some really cool people that are coming. We're even flying some people out here, which I think is so dope because like we are still a very small brand, but the fact that we have the ability to be able to do that and get in, you know, some just awesome, amazing people with incredible stories is going to be really, really cool. I'm excited about the growth, you know, between you and I and how we continue to maneuver through this, you being the host and me being the sport contributor, just like how do we continue to mesh our personalities and bring out the best in our guests and bring out the best in each other. We're so full of amazing ideas and so many things that we have in our heads that we want to do. And I just think that some of these avenues that we're going to be able to explore and actually figure out, like I'll let you talk about those a little bit more in depth if you want. Like you said, this isn't just a podcast, this is a brand, and we're going to try and do a lot of really cool things with this brand.
Everything you said, plus to that. I definitely think on the guest front for me, I am super excited to go a little bit deeper on topics like women's health, because we all know women's health and women's science is a huge gap. There was recently a post that I saw, and I looked into it, that had some statistics around clinical research. Women weren't even involved in clinical research till 1993.
Yeah, you showed me that post.
And
that's
I was
insane.
like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so you just think about our hormones, our periods, like how do we make our periods our superpower as it pertains to sport? I think that's an area I'm super interested to go deeper on. I think we've really established some of our core values and our platforms like body confidence, performance, beauty. We love beauty. You know, and there's going to be so much more that really drive confidence in women's lives. So I'm just excited to keep lifting those topics and really going deep and finding guests. I would also say that one of the areas of sport I think is fascinating tied to women's health right now is high contact sports for women. So things like rugby, tackle football, women's wrestling is one of the fastest growing sports amongst high school girls. And that is so exciting to me because I think the ferociousness of those sports, the physical contact of those sports is going to be amazing to see what women can do. But also, like, we are at a higher injury rate than men because we don't understand a lot about our hormones and our bodies. And so there's just, like, I think we have to keep up with the research and the innovation and research and science and product and equipment to really help elevate these sports. So
I'm going to be super excited for those conversations too, because I know with my knee injuries and my ACL tears, a lot of my tears that I know of, I was on my period and I was going through my menstrual cycle. So I know that played something into it. So it's going to be fascinating.
Well, there's going to be a lot of technology in this area. I think that when women are playing, there will be ways for us to dictate whether we're at risk, a higher risk, because of the data that's getting output from our performance. Yeah, to me, that's
incredible.
So dope. I think that's going to be like game changing for all women. But what you said about Click Clack being a brand, not just a podcast, like I think we started this being like, oh, we'd have a silly, fun podcast. And now we're like, whoa, we're building a mission-oriented brand here. We're going to convert more women to care about women's sports and to talk about women's sports. But we're going to do it on our playbook. We're going to rewrite sport because now the girls, it's time to take back our sports, right? And help build new sports that speak to us. So it's our turn. It's our turn to write what sport looks like for the future. I'm just excited about that, to be part of that, even as more of an onlooker. But also, I love to run. I love physical activity. So, you know, just to live those healthy lives that we all deserve.
Love that.
So yeah, so good. That's what I'm excited about as far as future casting. I'm also excited to get our brand logo done. So shout out to our graphics team who's starting to work on that.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see.
Dope.
Yeah,
it's gonna be dope. Now I want to talk a little bit about, I think, the most important thing, which we maybe touched on a little at the beginning of this episode, but maybe we sort of use this as our slam dunk of this episode, is like what we've learned about each other.
What I have learned about you, I've never met someone who is more positive and someone who really supports women. Like, I've never actually been around that very much in my life because how I was raised in sports and playing basketball and playing different sports, like, I was always pinned up against my teammate to be better than my teammate, right? So it was always like, there wasn't much women supporting women in my life because I was always competing. I was always trying to be better than the person next to me or whoever. I think what I've learned from you is just like, it is okay to support women and uplift women. I've always been a positive person naturally, but I think that you've really brought something different out in me. And it's just something that like I want to continue to keep going, you know, for the rest of my life and throughout this podcast for sure.
That's, I mean, an honor because you've achieved greatness, like I said. And I'll start with what I've known about you is what an open mind you have and what a caring and kind human being you are to every single person you meet. And I saw it in the lab. I see it out in the world. You're just a magnet for people. And that's a gift. I would say the thing I'm most surprised about is, you know, learning about your trajectory in your career from being a professional athlete to figuring out what you want to do after sport. You are like a chameleon. You can do so many things. And I think you are the perfect representation from the athlete side at your level because you can show other women what it looks like to be a chameleon and to be excellent in all of those different aspects of your career. I think if you had asked yourself a year ago if you would be in this seat right now doing a public show like this and going into really uncomfortable areas, I bet you would say no.
Right.
But you have an open mind and you took a chance and look at where you are. I guess maybe it isn't like a surprise per se, but I think it's been, again, a welcome moment to see you blossom in this experience.
Thank
and
you.
I'm like, holy moly, where are you going to be in a year from now if we keep on this
Where are
trajectory?
we going to be
That's
in a year
right.
from now?
But I mean, just like I could see you doing a TED Talk and being so confident to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Because you've had this experience. Or
Right.
I hope it leads you into other really amazing avenues where you can inspire people because that's what you're great at.
Thank you.
I think that's what
so
it is.
Sweet.
Is you are good at inspiring people.
It was so beautiful.
Oh, well, likewise,
That
my
was
friend.
so nice.
It's
Thank
true.
you. I know. I appreciate that.
I mean, I want other women, especially women and girls, to see women talk to each other this way, to be open-minded, to take chances, to feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why our podcast matters because it's going to help girls think about that.
I love that. I agree.
But yeah, like what a freaking season.
Like, amazing.
Am I going to cry?
I hope not.
No, I'm not going to cry.
Aw,
Because then I'll have another... I did wear mascara, so then I'll have fucking mascara coming down my face.
Yeah, we could use that for an embarrassing moment for next
season. Next season. I'm sure I'll like break a leg on one of our sets. Who knows? Actually, let's hope not because we're not doing that. But yeah, no, it's been a real honor to sit in the seat next to you.
Same, girl.
And
what?
This is just the start.
This is the beginning. Yeah.
This is the beginning. Okay, girl. We're going to wrap this amazing love-filled episode up with our favorite slam dunks and air balls of the week.
I would say my slam dunk of this season, non-related to the podcast, is obviously my wedding, which is 30 days from today. And I was telling someone this today. I'm never going to experience being 30 days away from my wedding ever again.
True.
So I'm just trying to cherish every single day and every moment leading up to it. Even though there's so much work and so many life things going on right now, I just really want to take these next 30 days very slowly and be very intentional with my days and my time because I am so excited to marry this woman and just like this wedding is just going to be everything.
I'm going to cry my face off. Like I almost got teared up now.
Oh, I
because
love you.
I've gotten to know you really well and also you and Carla a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And you two are just amazing. Like you just are you both walk into a room and like you can't not stare at you guys because you just have this presence, this energy, the way you carry yourselves. I'm like, match made in heaven over here.
You're the
Whoa,
best.
baby. But yeah, I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. And I'll end with my airball, or unless you want to.
No, go
okay.
for it.
And then I would say my airball of the season is probably just having to experience like the haters when it comes to this podcast and us doing this podcast. Not saying that there was a ton of hate, but when you do stuff like this, when you put yourself in the public, it's inevitable that you're going to have people that are going to look down on it and have something to say and talk shit. And I think that I'm a person that doesn't really care about what people say. And I generally do think that that's the case, but then I'll catch myself thinking and getting angry when like I know that like people have something to say about it or have something to say about what I'm doing. that's probably the airball, but I think that I'm learning to deal with that and just like, again, like not going to please everyone, you know, and that is okay. So I do find myself getting caught up in it a little bit, but like when I remove myself, I'm just like, who gives a fuck? Like, fuck these people.
I love that you brought that one up because I know that's been a vulnerable one for you.
Yeah.
And I love that you brought that up because I've seen you work through a lot of situations, like outside the podcast, in the podcast, and you just are, you have a light. You just have this light around you. And I what that tells me is that this is a space that makes you really happy.
Yeah.
And you're willing to fight for it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really powerful.
Thank you.
So haters gonna hate.
Mm-hmm.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, always.
Always.
They will always hate.
You know, that's also like the competitiveness in you and me.
True.
Where it's like we want to prove them wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
Or not, and that's fine too.
Yeah, and that's fine too. But those are really good, Jack.
Thank you.
I can't wait for your wedding.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't wait.
Okay, let's go with you.
Okay, so I would say my slam dunk, just like thinking generally around the last 6 months of starting this, is like for anybody who has dedicated a lot of their career into business and corporate life, there's so many great things about it and there's so many not great things about it. And I think especially for women in corporate America, often our agency is taken away because there's just not as many seats at the table for us. We get pitted against each other, and there's just not as many women-owned companies. And especially at that like very high level. For the ones that have, like, mad respect, because it takes some serious gut to build something that becomes huge, hire teams, inspire teams. Like, it's hard. And so I think for me, leaving corporate America, leaving that side of myself that I know so well and that comfort was just a huge shock.
Yeah.
But today I look at where I'm at now, and I talk to so many women that are so unhappy in their jobs. And it, like, one, I'm grateful that I can do this, but two, like, I want women to take risks and take chances on themselves.
Yeah.
And I think I've never been happier than where I'm at now.
Right.
And that came with like a lot of fear, but I worked through it.
No, and I've been here with you through the process, and I've seen how much you've grown from all of it. And I feel like you're so confident now with your decision and where you're at in your life and in your business. And it has been so amazing to watch this growth and this process with you.
Thank you.
Well done, my friend.
Thank you. And I think everybody's scared to fail.
Yeah.
But if we don't fail or we don't try, like, again, you're going to miss every shot you don't take. So I'm really, I would say that's a huge slam dunk for me. And being able to manage that within my family, having kids, like, it's a lot to be a mom, to own a business, to be married to someone who has a very high profile job. It's a lot, and it's also a blessing, but it can be a lot.
Yeah. Let me just say, like, I never even you never use your kids as an excuse of being tired. Never. And that for me is just like, oh my gosh, you're like literally superwoman, because you can do everything that you're doing with Click Clack, have kids that are young and need your attention 24/7, you know, and be married to a trauma surgeon. Like, girl, what?
Thank you. It's a lot. And sometimes, like, after Haley's 6th birthday yesterday, I could barely walk. I'm not kidding. I full on collapsed. I was like, she done. There's nothing left.
Mama done.
This tank's at 0. But yeah, I'm really proud of that for sure.
As you should be.
Thank you. I would say my airball, man, what is my airball? I've had a really blessed life this last 6 months, as hard as some of the personal emotions are. You know, I would say my airball is some of the health issues that have happened in my inner circle, my family. Everybody, like, put everything aside. Health is the thing that matters. Like, it really does. And it's so hard in our little rabbit holes to remember where we are in the world, our place in space, the people around us. But when you get sick, you get sick, right? And there's people in my life who have been diagnosed with really hard things, from young people to old people. And it's just a really good reminder that life is precious, that do things with people you love and that you respect. And as hard as it is, like, turn off your phone, put it away, unplug, be with your family. And I know that's a value you have very close to your heart. And you know, so I hope we can encourage some people to really think about that, because you never know when the other shoe's going to drop.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, as someone that's been experienced a lot of death around me, like that is such a good reminder.
Yeah.
So,
it's hard
appreciate
and it's new for me because
Yeah.
I grew up in a very like magical, like no real hard things.
Right.
Like truly like blessed situation.
Yeah.
And so now being an adult, like I'm just not as familiar with this stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. So I would say, you know, it just makes me more proud of being here in this room and being healthy and doing something we love.
Yeah. Never
So-
take the people in your life for granted.
That's what's up. But anyways, last but not least, our Click Clack community, we wouldn't be here without you. So
That's
we
a
love
fact.
you. We're here for you. Please DM us, follow us, not follow us, whatever. Like, we love you. Thank you for being there from the very beginning.
Literally, thank you to everybody. And if you have any comments or anything that you want to tell us or questions or whatever, like drop them somewhere and let us know so we can also learn from that and apply it to next season.
We got our first comment on Spotify, by the way.
Oh my God.
And someone was,
what'd they say?
no, real positive. It was like something along the lines of like girl power. And I was like, yes.
that's
and it was on our
amazing.
Just You and Me episode. So
That's so cool.
But I know you're gonna go have a little snuggly movie night with your amazing wife.
Yes, I know we need that. We've both been working like crazy.
We have, and I'm gonna go hang out with my two crazy little kiddos who I'm shocked have not come up and
I know. I
interrupted
actually
us.
am too.
But they're watching the Power Rangers. I just said that publicly, and I was like, "Don't tell Dad that I let you watch the Power Rangers."
Does he not want them to?
He probably would say it's a little too old for them, but I'm like, I watched it at this age. And
Oh,
it's
that's
such a
hilarious.
classic. Anyways, maybe we cut this, but yeah, we'll go get some rest and just huge thanks to our team who's made this happen.
Team Click Clack.
Team Click
We
Clack.
are the best.
We freaking
I
love
love you, girl.
I love you too.
So good.
We out. Maybe don't say me doing this because I look stupid.
I think your gummy kicked in.